FM, the Wake Up Guyana Show.
Amerlander Milk. Milk made with fresh cow's milk from certified dairy farmers with 130 years experience. We produce over 1.3 billion liters annually. We work with quality standards that far exceed statutory requirements. Our milk is not made from milk solids. Amerland, pure and natural. Available at stores nationwide.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello and welcome to your News at Noon on Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith. The News at Noon comes to you with the compliments of Amerlander Milk. Before we get to the top stories we're tracking, let's get to today's front page comment of the Kaieteur News. The 7 leading sons of Guyana. We at Kaieteur News and Kaieteur Radio Network say to the 7 leading sons of Guyana, oil is our future. It is not a 7-day wonder, and neither are we a 7-day wonder. We tell all Guyana why, as we enlighten these 7 men too. This oil is Guyana's future. It is many people's hope for generations to come. It is more than gold, timber, and fisheries combined. Silence and sitting on one's hands are not options for the 7 of them. Not former Presidents David Granger or Donald Ramotar or Bharat Jagdeo. Not former Ministers Robert Prasad and Raffle Trotman. Not President Irfan Ali and not Opposition Leader Joseph Harman. Silence is not an option for us either. Many powerful companies, powerful people and powerful places around the world pin a significant part of their future prospects on this oil of ours. They know more about our oil than we do. We must know much more, told more. We who are poor have more of our future invested and dependent on this oil. Silence is not an option for us. Playing hide and seek is not an option. Playing at ignorance is not an option. Not for them, not for us. We point to Trinidad, which a world-class expert noted left a loophole open, and our neighbors lost a staggering $17 billion in under a decade. We do not want to, nor should we lose that kind of money because of our leadership's negligence or failure to have political will. The silence of these 7 political figures confirms negligence, incompetence, and things that do not speak to either prudence or intelligence. We want to hear about this oil. We want to hear about this oil. We call on the sitting president, former presidents, and former ministers, tell the nation everything. Tell all the people all the truths about our oil. And remember, we're not going away or fading away. And now for the top stories we're tracking. ExxonMobil plans 3-well campaign on suspiciously awarded Kanji block. ExxonMobil makes pledge to reduce its global emissions output by 2025, but continues to pollute local airspace with hundreds of toxic chemicals in the meantime. And Winston Brassington heads Gas to Shore Task Force. Meanwhile, government fails to publish Redford's pay-hour review 3 months after promising to do so. And Houston Shore Base unable to handle Liza Phase 1 demands, says Raffle Trotman. Stay tuned to stay informed.
This Christmas, Shake to Win just got bigger! Now when you purchase our new bigger Digital Prime bundle and Shake to Win, you can choose your prize and share it with someone you love. So, shake more and share more! Share more daily prizes and guaranteed wins every Saturday. You can win laptops, cash, smartphones, credit, data, and so much more. Shake more, share more. Activate a Digital Prime bundle in the My Digital app and Shake to Win this Christmas.
You don't have to be a fountain of knowledge to help children with their schoolwork while they're at home. But you do have to be caring, understanding, loving, and patient. It's an unsettling time for everyone, but children still need a safe and secure environment. So don't overwhelm them with endless news items or problems. Keep them gainfully occupied and amused, exercised and rested. Protect our children.
A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
And now for the news in detail. Even as it continues to lay the groundwork for two critical projects to pump thousands of barrels of oil out of the Stabroek Block, ExxonMobil still remains laser-focused on executing an aggressive exploration campaign for its other offshore concession called Kanji. In fact, Exxon has already begun spotting the Bulletwood 1 prospect, which is reported to have a channel complex that is similar to the Liza geology in the Stabroek concession. This project will target approximately 500 million barrels of oil equivalent resources. Meanwhile, one of the industry's biggest contributors to greenhouse gases, ExxonMobil, announced yesterday that it will be rolling out a plan to reduce the intensity of its upstream gas emissions by 15 to 20%. ExxonMobil said that it will be able to achieve this by 2025. It went on to say that this will be supported by a 40 to 50% decrease in methane intensity and that a 35 to 45% decrease in flaring intensity across its global operations. Further to this, the company said it plans to align its operations with the World Bank's initiative to eliminate routine flaring by 2030. Even as the company notes its intentions to reduce emissions, its actions offshore Guyana send a completely different message to local and international stakeholders about its interest in protecting the environment. And moving on. Former NISL CEO Winston Brassington now heads the Gas to Shore Task Force, which will be responsible for bringing natural gas to shore. The working group will focus on the enhancement of the legal framework, capacity building of key institutions, and project management. According to the Minister of Natural Resources, Vikram Bharat, it will also look at power generation utilized from this project as early as possible so Guyanese can have cheaper and more efficient supply. The task force will comprise members of key agencies. The cost of consultations and logistics for the group has been allocated in the budget. And moving on, after promising transparency in its management of Guyana's oil and gas sector, the government is neglecting a key aspect of the mandate, the release of the $9 billion payout project review, done by controversial Canadian consultant Alison Redford. Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat promised that the findings of the review would be made public in September, weeks before the government approved the Payara Field Development Plan submitted by ExxonMobil. Redford, an ex-politician, resigned from her post as Premier of Alberta, Canada in 2014 for inappropriately spending Canada's tax dollars. She was also found to have benefited from money donated to her former political party by an ExxonMobil subsidiary in Canada called Imperial Oil. Redford's team completed its review in 6 weeks. And now let's tell you, according to former Minister of Natural Resources Raffle Trotman, the Munishwars shore base erected at Houston is unable to supply the needs for Liza Phase 1. He had also noted Munishwars shore base is already at its capacity, and for this, Trotman had indicated that the APNU AFC had initiated the process of scouting other locations which could also serve as shore bases. Notably, former Trinidad and Tobago Minister of Energy Kevin Ramnarine had noted that Guyana is expected to have 5 oil vessels in the next 5 years, and that the shore base demands that these oil ships will need is expected to be significant. It is now 12 hours 8, coming up after the break. A man found dead after visiting girlfriend. Suriname threatens to forcefully evict Cubans camped out at border, and bodies of teen and woman recovered from water graves. Do stay tuned.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
A lot has happened since oil was discovered in 2015. The petroleum industry is an ever-changing web of oil, gas, politics, and money. It gets complicated sometimes, but we can bring you all the latest developments and include you in the discussions here on Kaieteur Radio. So tune in to 99.1 or 99.5 FM every Tuesday night at 20 hours for Petroleum 101. With me, your host, Kamal King. Kaieteur Radio, the radio with a difference.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Last seen alive leaving his girlfriend's home, a man was yesterday found dead along the Bachelor's Adventure Access Road, East Coast, Demerara. According to police, the body of 23-year-old Keith Andrew Willis, a mason of Bachelor's Adventure, was discovered around 6 hours 10. Crime scene experts reported that the corpse was found lying on the roadway with a single stab wound to the neck. Detectives believe that Willis was attacked and murdered sometime after 23 hours on Monday. After almost 2 weeks of being on a pier in western Suriname, in Nickerie, several hundred Cubans were informed that they must abandon the site or else they would be evicted, even by force if necessary. According to the migrants' versions, in a meeting with the head of the police and the government of Nickerie, they were informed that Guyana has officially denied their entry into the country. Faced with the threat of the authorities, some Cubans from family groups with minors decided to abandon the sit-in and return to Paramaribo, the capital, more than 200 kilometers from Nickerie. However, some stayed, and they still keep alive their hope with a ferry service connecting that country with Guyana will resume. In other news, on Sunday, residents of Parika Sidam, East Bank, Essequibo, managed to pull the body of a female who was found floating in the Essequibo River. According to police reports, the dead woman was identified as Lashmine Etwaru. Reports are that the body is awaiting a post-mortem examination. Meanwhile, the police and the Child Care and Protection Agency are investigating an incident where a 6-year-old girl from Good Bananen Land, East Kanji Berbice, was found unconscious in swampy mud. The child is currently undergoing treatment at the Georgetown Public Hospital. Kaieteur Radio is receiving reports that the mother of the child has confessed to beating the child and dumping her in the muddy swamp. More updates to follow. And now let's tell you, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat on Sunday denied that the government of Guyana has rehired the same controversial Canadian consultant, Alison Redford, to do additional work. We reached out to the minister after another media entity quoted former Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Lillian Chatterjee, as saying that the government hired Redford for technical assistance in the oil and gas sector, based on Canada's recommendation. Bharat said that the report is not true. We also reached out to Chatterjee on Sunday, but she had already left Guyana and did not offer a comment. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo could not be reached, and Prime Minister Mark Phillips referred us to Minister Bharat. And now let's tell you the misconduct in public office charges against Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh and head of the Gas to Shore Task Force, Winston Brassington, yesterday had charges withdrawn against them. They were charged on May 8, 2018 for allegedly selling state lands without first obtaining a valuation and selling the lands way below their value under the Bharat Jagdeo administration. When the matter was called on the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan, the SOCU special prosecutor informed the court that the organization no longer wished to proceed with the charges against the two officials. As such, 6 charges were withdrawn against Singh and Brassington. It is now 12 hours 13, and now for your COVID-19 update. The number of worldwide coronavirus cases has reached 73.4 million, with deaths at 1.6 million and recovery cases at 51.5 million. A 72-year-old man from Region 10 has been recorded as Guyana's 156th COVID-19 death. 23 newly recorded COVID-19 cases pushes the total number of confirmed cases to 5,943. 657 persons are in approved home isolation, 45 are in institutional isolation, 22 are in institutional quarantine, and 8 are in the ICU at the Lillian Dahl Infectious Disease Hospital. And coming from CNN, for many Americans, Monday felt like a sigh of relief. After 10 nightmarish months, the first COVID-19 vaccinations began, a historic milestone in a brutal battle. Across the country, many health workers looked on in awe and disbelief as their co-workers received the vaccine. In Germany, the fourth largest economy in the world, is heading into a national lockdown that could send it into another recession, a major warning as countries including the US try to battle a spike in coronavirus cases over the winter. And London will return to a strict lockdown tomorrow amid warnings of a new strain of the virus spreading through parts of southern England, but the variant is nothing new or startling. As with the other new variants or strains, this one carries a genetic fingerprint that makes it easy to track, and it happens to be one that is now common. That does not mean the mutation has made it more easily spread, and it certainly does not mean this variation is more dangerous. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. Remember, the news came to you with the compliments of Amalanda Milk. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Amerlander Milk. Milk made with fresh cow's milk from certified dairy farmers with 130 years experience. We produce over 1.3 billion liters annually. We work with quality standards that far exceed statutory requirements. Our milk is not made from milk solids. Amerlander. Real milk, pure and natural. Available at stores nationwide.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.